Hello. So we've arrived at the River Avon. This is a spot that I've fished before, and there's quite a few people on, which I'd like kind of all down that way. So this is actually a spot I fished once before, and it looks like it's been cut and trimmed down, but this particular bit here, this stretch of water, as you can see, is where I've caught fish before. So I'm hoping, well, we're gonna get some bait up, start getting some bait out, but there's, like, as you could probably see over there, some lilies, kind of like the perfect environment really. So we're gonna get set up, get some bait on, and hopefully it's looking very good actually. I mean, there's a little bit of colour to the water, just kind of what we need, and hopefully over the far lilies, over the far bank, there's some oxygenated areas, and we'll catch some fish. But this particular bit is where I've had a couple of fish in the middle of the night as well, so hopefully, the very first time I came, I actually fished this peg, so yeah, fingers crossed. Gonna set up, get things rolling. In here we've got some cheesy garlic pellets, we've got a whole bag of Sonya baits, ground bait, we've got some of that Sonya baits halibut liquid in there as well, to try and bind it with a bit of the river water. So yeah, there's quite a lot in there. I'm just, you know, turning it up, trying to, because you don't want it too dry but you don't want it too sticky, else it just sticks. You want to do it so you can get it to a nice fine consistency, and it should roll into some little balls like this, and this is kind of what we want. The reason for that is when it hits the water it's going to separate and fall apart. So yeah, we've got plenty of little bits in there, plenty of nutritional things. The other thing I have got, which I've not added into this just yet, is some hemp as well. So yeah, this is kind of like what we're going for. So it'll stick like nice little balls, and if I chuck that in and show you, and it plops in the water, and that noise attracts the fish as well, because as soon as they hear that go in the water, they know food. So I took a couple of these little balls out. We're going to get some hemp in there as well. I have got another bag of ground bait as well. This is, you know, the first morning, we're here for 2 nights, so yeah, we haven't even unloaded the car yet. Best thing to do when you get down the river, start baiting up before you do anything else. That way you'll start getting fish into the swim, and when you do cast out, they'll have had time to start feeding. So when they are feeding, it's not going to be any new what's on the bottom with the pellets that you're using. You know, if it's all in the ground bait anyway, you know, it's not going to spook the fish and they're not going to get so suspicious. So there we go. So I'm going to chuck a couple of more of these out just to try and encourage fish into the swim. And then we'll start getting set up. So after a miserable day yesterday of fishing, the rain was absolutely hammering down, didn't really have much luck. Tried to get some sleep as well because of working the night before, because of work night. So, but then the early hours of this morning brings us this absolute cracking chub. It's currently, I think, nearly 4 o'clock now, and I saw the rod tipping. The alarms were on obviously because it was at night, and it just beeped faintly. Anyway, I saw the rod bending, managed to get this absolute beautiful fish in, 4 pound well, £4.5. Yeah, it's £4.48, but we'll say 4.5. But look at it, absolutely beautiful. I mean, that is just, that's a gorgeous fish. That's probably the best looking chub we've ever had, I think. Really happy with that. So we're on a beautiful day here on the Sunday of the fishing trip. I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown of some of the baits that we've been using for this session, and I'm going to start off with the Dynamite's Big River shrimp and krill. This I've used a couple of times before. Seems to work really well, and with it I've kind of gone for a bit of a, well, there's some hemp in here and the ground bait. As you can see, it's quite, I like the right texture that you need really. This is kind of for today's session because I think I showed you yesterday on the yesterday we used the Sonya baits, whereas this one's the Dynamite baits one. Also in here we've got some giant prawn sweet corn. Never used this before, but I've watched a video where apparently the juices out of this tin is really good for combining the ground bait and also using the bits of corn on the hair as well. So we've got that in there as well. Hemp, nice and simple. But as well, sticky baits. This is what currently holds the personal best on this bait for a barbel. So it's kind of a bit of a fishy day today. So krill, shrimp, prawn, kind of flavoured things. Been using a bit of meat. Obviously the Pepperami was what caught the chub in the night. Have got some halibut green luncheon meat on the one rod at the moment as well. although that's yet to even have a nibble, to be honest. So I'm going to try and change things up a little bit, because that's the thing sometimes with fishing. If one thing's not working, you give it a bit of time, you keep bait in the area, the fish are attracted to the swim or they're not. And for me, I think meat isn't working on this occasion. The pellets, halibut pellets, aren't working. The pepperami, again, sometimes you just got to change it up a bit. So I'm going to try going with the shrimp, krill, the prawn flavoured sweet corn, and see if that just makes any changes to the day. And I mean, we are currently only at 8 AM, so we've got all day yet, but hopefully things will get better as the day goes on. So this here is the Coram river cage feeder. Now this is what I've stuck with bait. This is a 3 ounce one. I've currently got a Fox rig feeder rig on here at the moment, only because the Coram bolt rig kit that I did have, the last one I had of that actually got snapped yesterday when that canal boat went down the river and decided to snap my line, so that was great. But the thing was, didn't know it was coming, and I've got 3 rods to get in, so it was a bit of a mission, especially when this one's kind of like, it was towards the far bank. So luckily I had a couple of these feeders, but that's the kit that we've had to use. It's a little bit, I mean, as you've seen, the weed is quite bad in here so far, but that's that. So I'm absolutely gutted. Like, one of the guys from a few pegs down just came up to me and he was like, it's not fishing very well. No one's really had anything other than like little small barbel. And then all of a sudden, as he's there talking to me, my rod has screamed off. It's come right off like the bait alarm that it's on. I picked the rod up and whatever it was had gone. It like had come off, and I was like, before I'd even picked it up, and the guy was just like, yep, that's the kind of look we're all having. And it's just like, so a bit disappointing on that night. But I mean, it's not been the trip that I planned for. I don't know whether it's just because maybe this section isn't. I know the River Trent is fishing really well. I've seen like loads of things on social media about the River Trent. Not much about the Avon, although the stretch that I'm on at Manor Farm, the record size barbel for the Avon was beaten twice here last year at £18 something. One of the guys was telling me in the Manor Farm shop yesterday. I've awoken to another one. Now it's another chub. Again, absolutely lovely, not a scratch or a mark on it. So it's a shame the barbel are hiding, but it's quite nice to have another cracking little fish. Well, little, it's quite decent for a chub, that. So yeah, well happy, and with this beautiful sunset too. And this is the other thing as well, they'll let you know when they want to go back. Just let him catch his breath. And he was actually a bit bigger as well. He was £4.7. There you go, now his tail's down. Is he kicking? And there we go. Safely put back and returned. Well, another morning, another chub. Probably the biggest one of the lot. Well, it is, I weighed it, it's definitely the biggest. yeah, Pepperami seems to be what's doing the wonders for the chub. So if you want to go chub fishing, I recommend buying some Pepperami and taking it down to this stretch of the River Avon, because that's all we've seemed to have on the Pepperami. The first two that are caught yesterday was on the fire stick, which is the really spicy one because it gives off a bit of smell. And this one was on chorito, Pepperami chorito. So that's a new flavour that had just come out, and I saw it when I was in the shop and I just thought, I'll try it. And would you look at that, £5.25 chub. Oh, it's a bit slippy. He wants to go back, I think, but yeah, kind of well happy with that. That's definitely the best chub of the lot now. I mean, I thought the one I had yesterday morning was the best, but then you look at that and you just think, wow, and it's just pooed itself. Great. But yeah, that's what we've had. It's been well rested for a good 5 minutes, just because I needed to get everything set up, and so it's been laying. Oh, it's been laying the net in the water. So, but he's in. Look at that. That is one quality fish. Even better condition than yesterday. So I am over the moon with that. But again, still no barbel. It's been more of a chub fishing video than it has barbel. But yeah, I recommend if you want to go chub fishing, small lead, no more than 3, and you'll be fine. Keep baiting your swim every time you cast out with I've been using Corum's river cage feeders, and a good bit of Pepperami on. You'd want the Pepperami about this big, I'd say. And the reason is, you're going to get lots of little ones, I think. I mean, we are targeting barbel, so, you know, the bigger the Pepperami, probably the bigger the fish, I'd say.